Hello and welcome to this very special unboxing. This is some 3D stuff, 3D printed miniatures from a guy called Dave, whose eBay store is Jada, Jada _83. Anyway, I'll put a link to it in the description. But he's done a lot of fantasy stuff and a moderate number and growing number of ancient historical ones, which is where my interest mostly lies, as I'm sure you know. Now, I did review some of his Greeks a while back, and they were really very nice, very beautifully sculpted. They were a bit big, 32mm roughly, rather than 28. Exhibit A, this excellent Spartan. So he's resized them after some feedback, and they'll be amongst these, as well as a whole lot of Gauls, and also an interesting and exciting project, I reckon, which I wouldn't say collaborated, but have suggested to him, which is to make torsos of figures without the head or the arms, so that when you have kits like the Victrix or the Warlord Games or the Wargames Atlantic, you'd always get heaps of leftover bits, and it seems like such a waste. So I did suggest maybe if he could make them to the right scale, you know, you could utilize all those otherwise wasted bits from your other kits, and that way also get a bit more diversity into your army. So he has been kind enough to send me a whole lot of the ones which you know, prototypes for that, I guess. So I did pay for some of these, but I've certainly got a lot more than I paid for, so I'm very happy. So let's start off with looking at the resized ones. So here we go. So this is, you'll notice, the same guy, 32mm, versus this one is meant to be 28mm. I wonder if he's gone a bit too far with the resizing. Let me just compare with a few others. So there is a WIP Greek. So this guy is clearly a bit slimmer. He's almost the same height. Let's go a few more other guys. So there's an Aventine Greek. Again, a bit smaller than the Aventine, and a Victrix Greek. So I think my feedback on these resized Greeks is they've gone a bit too far. You probably need something halfway between the two extremes, I'd say, to be the perfect fit for most of the other guys. So that's interesting. So I think all these guys, the resized Greeks, will be in that category now. They've gone from a bit too big to a bit too small. Anyway, so I've got quite a haul here. What I might do is just reorganize them, and I will come back in a second and show you what I've got. Okay, now I've reorganized these a little bit, so let's go through them. So on the back there's all those resized Greeks, which are like this guy, like the one we saw, perhaps slightly smaller than ideal. Then there's the sort of barbarian bodies to go with leftover bits. So question is, how well do they size up with some of the other guys? So this is a Wargames, what is he, Warlord Games plastic one, and I think the sizing is just about perfect for that. I will construct a few in a bit and see how they go with the heads and the arms of other kits, but they look like they should go well. This is a Victrix one. Again, I think body's pretty much perfectly sized for that. They're going to look good with some other components on them. Then there's a V&V Gaul, and again unarmored versus armored, but in terms of proportions I think they're spot on, so they look great. He's also done, I'll get them out of the way and then I'll show you the Greek. So he's done a whole lot of sort of generic Greek bodies, and interestingly here you'll see he's done various sizes, so to get an idea which are going to work the best, and different sorts of bases as well. So I'll give my feedback, but I'm sure Dave would be interested in other people's feedback, not just me. So quite a big variety of sizings on the Greeks there. Let's compare with a Victrix Greek. So this one, we'll go some that have the smaller one. So that's way too small, and then it's the same model but a bigger sizing. So that one is pretty close. Is this bigger again? I don't know. I think it's the same. I think they're exactly the same. So certainly the bigger ones out of those, that little set, are better. Here we have I think the same guy, but just different base style. So to me, I probably prefer these slightly bigger bases, but it doesn't really matter because I always stick them on a metal or coin base or something, or a MDF base. Let's check out these guys now. So again, we got a puny little kid versus a bigger one, which would be perfect, I'd say. Perfect size Greek. Let me do the usual same and stick a head and some arms on him, and we'll see how he turns out. Alright, so that's them. Then we've got a couple of new Barbarian cavalry, which actually look beautiful. Really nice little horse and nicely sculpted rider. A little bit of the 3D stuff. Was that meant to be his cloak billowing up at the back? I'll have to look at that on the magnification. I'm not sure. I may need to trim it, or maybe it's perfect. I'll just get a couple other riders to compare there. Okay, so comparison time. So this is Wargames Atlantic. Looks a little bit smaller to me. This 3D one. It is a bit. Probably want that about 5% bigger, I would reckon. Let me compare then with the Agema Metal Numidian. It's actually almost exactly the same size as that. So it's not significantly out of whack. Let's see a Victrix. They tend to be a bit on the big side. Up against him, yeah, Rider's a tiny bit smaller, Horse is a tiny bit smaller. You can see that alright. This one, same, yeah, I reckon ideal would be to crank them up about 5%, which I think they can do pretty easily. Okay, what next? Now we've got some Gauls that I did pay for. Now, they're very good value for money. These were a set of 10 and they were 9 Australian dollars. So you have to look at a comparison in your own currency, but in terms of American dollars, that'd be about less than 6, about 6. And yeah, British pence, I think. I mean, pounds, similar, maybe £5. Anyway, they look quite cool. Everyone's individual. Got a mixture of axes, swords, a few spears. No, there's no spear. Oh yeah, one spearman, and some archers, a couple of archers. All got nice hair with beards and moustaches. No helmets amongst them. And sizing will again be the key thing. So here they do size up very well with Victrix, almost exactly. V and V, almost. Oops, I'm hardly on camera, am I? Sorry. Almost exactly there as well. So they're great. Look forward to them. I've got a particular project in mind for them. And then a last thing to show would be a whole lot of interesting ones. I thought it'd be quite fun to get a little fantasy set. And again, amazing value for money. There's 10 of these and some of them are quite sizable, and all sorts of different fantasy species. And again, they were about $10 Australian, so very, very cheap really. Let's get a look here, get all sorts of stuff. Dog, frogman with a sling, some sort of a, I don't know what he is, minotaur-y kind of guy. No horns though. A big archer, reptilian, nice, beautiful shield there, sort of coffin size style shield. What's he, a little angry man or a goblin or something? A harpy. That'd be quite cool. Greek mythological beast. Oh, Scorpion Man. He's nice. Centaur. That's great. Lovely. Yeah, excellent. Fine details. Another archer with, oh, that's an elf with the big pokey ears. Some sort of little cobalt or something. Tiger Man. He's cool. Another reptile. Oh, a nice dwarf with a big axe, massive axe, with all the detail on that. So yeah, some comparable figures you get on Etsy and so on there, end up costing like 5 or 6 Australian dollars each. These are way cheaper and excellent quality. So I'm going to paint up some. I'm going to construct a few of these guys and see how they look. And I'll give you a look at them next, and then I'll do some more videos once they're fully painted. Alright, I've based a number of them and made a very small start on a few of them, so I thought I'd just show you what I've got. So that's the first one of these sort of barbarian cavalry, and I did think they were a bit too small earlier, but I'm not sure now. Like, that's a Victrix, it's always a bit big for cavalry. This is another one from Reconquer design, which is a bit on the smaller side, so it's quite nicely placed intermediate between the two. So maybe I should just keep that scale exactly as it is. There's one other of those barbarian cavalry here. Now they're not absolutely perfect. Oops, I'm a bit high there. Hang on, let me go up a bit. That leg was broken off, back left leg, and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I've had to just make that out of well, milli cut it is, and I'll put some shrubs and stuff around the bottom of it so it doesn't look quite so rough when it's finished. So they do have the usual inherent problem of 3D printed figures in that they are fairly brittle. Let's get a few of the barbarian type ones, Gauls perhaps, up and have a look at them. Now, so these are obviously the pre-made ones. That's one that came with just the torso, like this guy. And I've added some old barbarian bits I had hanging around to the one on the ground there with the Victrix head, and I think there might be Frostgrave arms, I can't quite remember. This guy was meant to be an elf. I took his head off and gave him a Gaul helmet from Wargames, Warlord Games, that is. There's another Gaul, just the torso, and now he's got all Victrix bits, so arms and head. And you can see the scale works absolutely perfectly with the Victrix bits. That's a pre-made one. Couldn't resist putting a bit of paint on him. Very nicely sculpted, like really fine details on the cloth and the hair. I think they're going to look fantastic, actually. And one more of the torsos. So there's about 5 or 6 of the torsos. Most of them have these sort of big boots, but this guy is good actually. He's got sandals and strapping around his lower legs, so actually that one as well. So he's done a few that are a bit different. That's great. I will just remove them and we'll get the next set up. So these are the Greeks, and the generic body there, which you put a bit of paint on the large size. This is the small size, and then back to the large size, constructed with some Victrix bits from the latest Greek hoplite set. Although the helmet is from the old Wargames factory Greek set, and you see all the components work perfectly for scale with the larger ones. And yeah, a few more bits from straight out of the Greek hoplite set on that guy, so they're going to look brilliant, I think. I'll probably suggest to me just makes them a little bit thicker, more thick set, and some of the features like the straps around the armour are a little bit broader, just so they're easier to paint. But I'm going to give you some options to make some excellent Greek hoplites there. And last but not least, I've just whacked together a few little fantasy figures. So a cool little harpy, a sort of frogman slinger, and the lion or tiger man. The lion or a tiger? You make him a tiger man. Yeah, they all are beautiful thus far. I'm impressed and happy with them, and I'm going to enjoy painting them so much I couldn't resist. Again, another small issue with the resin figures. This wing was a bit broken. I tried to kind of bend it back and it just snapped off, so I had to glue that back, and I put a bit of putty in to smooth it over the arm. Likewise, she's got a fantastic face, really evil, growling kind of expressive face. So that's going to be nice fun. Alright, well, I will get to work, and as usual I'll come back with some more videos once I've done justice to some of these figures. See ya.